In this module we will discuss about pressure support mode, and this gives you a very good idea about how triggers and cycling works in a particular mode. Just like in pressure control mode, they ask you how much pressure support above PEEP is required. We set the PEEP, we set the FiO2, which is a fixed value. What we cannot set is the respiratory rate. When we cannot set the respiratory rate, there is no defined breath cycle. We cannot set the inspiratory time. So in a pressure support mode, a breath cannot be triggered by time, a breath cannot be cycled by time. We have known that in a volume control and a pressure control, the breath can be either triggered by the patient or by time, and the cycling is always by time. But here there is a separate concept which works. Let us see how it works. Let's say we set up a pressure support of 10 centimeters and a PEEP of 5. Since we do not have any defined respiratory rate, all the breaths have to be triggered by the patient, which means that there should be some effort which is put by the patient, which can be registered on the ventilator, and it can start a breath. So all the breaths which are triggered or started in a pressure support mode are triggered by the patient. There is no time triggered breath in a pressure support mode. There is no backup respiratory rate in a pressure support mode. Now the patient makes an effort, which is the trigger here, and because we had set a pressure support of 10, the pressure rises from PEEP to 10 almost instantly. This is known as a rise time, and then remains constant all throughout the inspiration, and at the end of the inspiration it again falls back to the PEEP level and then again rises with the next inspiration. The inspiration we know can be triggered only by the patient, and since there is a tremendous change in pressure from the beginning to the peak, there is a tremendous amount of flow, which is again decelerating pattern. Suppose in this change of pressure from 0 or from PEEP, whichever level, to 10, a flow was created, the peak level of which was 20 liters per minute. So this will be the peak flow. Now the cycling in this mode is a concept which is known as flow cycle. What happens is the ventilator asks us at what level of the percentage of the peak flow should I cycle the breath. By default it is kept at 25 to 30 centimeters. Let's see what happens when we keep at 25% of the peak flow. The breath starts, reaches a peak which is around 20 liters per minute, and the flow drops because a volume has been constantly delivered, the pressure is constant, the flow keeps decreasing and reaches a value of 5 liters per minute, which is exactly 25% of the peak flow. As soon as the flow drops to this level, ventilator knows that it is time to cycle the breath. So the cycling in a pressure support mode is what is known as flow cycle. All the breaths are triggered by a patient effort. The peak flow is dependent not only on the pressure support but also the effort put by the patient. So we can also say that the cycling time, the amount of volume which is delivered with each breath, is a lot dependent on the effort which is put by the patient. So the difference between the pressure support and a pressure control mode is, in a pressure control the breath can be triggered either by time or by the patient. Here it is only the patient. The cycling there is by time, but the cycling here is by the changes in the flow or a drop in flow, and there is no backup respiratory rate, because of which we know that the entire ventilation would be driven by the patient. The respiratory rate will be decided by the patient. The cycling also will be dependent on the effort generated by the patient, how much peak flow can he generate and how that peak flow falls, and the patient goes into cycling. If we can understand this idea of flow cycling and triggering of a breath, the role of respiratory rate and how it sets a time cycling, we will be able to understand the basic modes of volume control, pressure control and pressure support very well.